Okay, so hi everybody. This is being recorded the same day as my introduction, hence the outfit, setting up still being the same. So for those of you that didn't see my introduction, if this is the first video of mine you've seen, this is an account talking about a lot of things I've witnessed, things I feel strongly about, things I've gone through. If you don't care for equal rights for people of color, for different sexualities, religions, genders, or anything else, feel free to leave. If you decide to leave hate on my account, you will simply be blocked, and that'll be it. This is a place for me to express myself. These are my opinions, these are my go-throughs in life. I'm not stating that this is all that there is. This is just my personal thoughts. So if you don't agree with it, please don't get angry at me for that. It's just the way that I process things, or the way that I think things should go, that I think things should work, or the way that I believe equality should be. So, with that being said, today I thought I'd start with something that's just very happy for me, and that being the LGBT community. So, for me personally, as of right now, I identify as a bisexual, gray sexual demigirl, which I'm questioning as of right now that I may be gender fluid, which I feel makes more sense to me, or for me, I guess. It doesn't make more sense to me, sorry. But I just feel that I may be gender fluid. With bisexuality, it's that, you have an attraction to two or more genders, and for me personally, I honestly couldn't care less on somebody's gender. I've thought about it, I might be pansexual, but I'm not too sure. I have a lot more attraction towards women than I do towards men. It's nothing against men, it's just the way that it works for me. So there's that. With the gray sexual, it's within the asexual spectrum, and it basically makes it so that while I don't like the thought of sex and I'm not really interested in that, there is the possibility of it becoming a thing. So it's mostly being asexual, just with that possibility of doing that. And the demigirl part is that while most of the time I identify as female, and I always use she, her pronouns, I have days where I feel, the thing is that it says it's more non-binary that comes with that on other days, but for me personally, it's a lot more just masculine days. Today being one of them. I tend to wear my LGBT Letterman jacket, and I'll wear jeans or whatever, and I might make a video on how I personally change my looks to feel more comfortable in my skin. So with questioning the gender fluid part, it's pretty much what it sounds like, where there's just, it's fluid towards the way you feel about your gender. So for me, I have days where I feel like, I'm more feminine, and I'll wear a skirt, which doesn't happen often, but those are the days I'm more inclined to wear shorts when it's nicer out, and those are the days I'll wear brighter colors. With the more masculine days, that's when I wear this, or I wear bulkier or just bigger hoodies, so that I can cover things. I don't have a binder personally. I've thought about getting one, but I'm not too sure yet because I don't trust myself to take it off in time. I don't want to talk about binders yet because I'm not 100% sure about them. I would have to speak to a couple people or do some research into it, but I can talk about that eventually, I'm sure. So yes, when it comes to my masculine days, I have things that look like white beaters. And yes, I call them white beaters, not wife beaters, because that's technically apparently what it is, and I don't feel comfortable saying that. So I just call them white beaters. Those will be the days I normally wear my jeans, or I'll wear like sweats. I won't wear leggings. I'll wear, you know, a t-shirt. Sometimes I've got a couple that feel more masculine to me, that are gray. They're t-shirts. I never, very rarely wear long sleeved shirts. They're just very uncomfortable to me. However, I do have some masculine days where I want to wear a crop top, and I do, because I don't care about gender stereotypes. Please excuse the fact my leg keeps coming up. I am just very fidgety. Yeah, then I have a baseball cap that has a rainbow on it, and I wear that. I always wear it backwards unless, you know, I'm in the sun and can't really see. So I'll put it on forwards, but I like to have it on backwards. It gives me that feeling of masculinity. Goodness. I'm still trying to figure out how to keep this stuff down. I need to get a haircut really bad, which should be happening soon, I hope. But this is all gonna get trimmed pretty soon here too, probably in June. But I'm pretty excited for June actually, because this will be the first Pride month that I can actually be myself. I feel like last June I had just gone through a really bad breakup, and I didn't really get to enjoy Pride month. I saw a lot of posts, and you know, it wasn't until July or August, I believe, that I did a Pride, it was an art contest thing, and it wasn't like anything, it was just for the pure like ability to show what I can do. And at the time I had identified as demisexual, which meant that, you know, I wouldn't have the want for sex unless it was somebody that I have like a really strong connection with. So with that, I have this glass checkers board, and I got it from my dad, from my stepdad, and I painted it so that one set of the like playing side was the bi flag, and the other side was the demi flag, and then the whole board was rainbow and black checker. And I wound up winning, like being one of the top people in the contest, which was great. That was when my Instagram became, I made it public. I originally had it private so that I could just post to be me. Sorry, this is bugging me. Excuse me for 1 minute. Okay, so here you can actually see. I just push my hair back and let this do its job. I always keep these in, whether it's mask day or femme day. So anyways, that was really fun. That was a great way to enjoy the pandemic, which is another reason I'm doing this, because it gives me something to do. While I should be getting my vaccine soon, you know, I just want to be safe still, and I want to wait until other people obviously have theirs, so I'm still staying inside and being safe. So I'm going to keep doing this, and hopefully continue for a while, and I might stop, I might not sure. Anyways, so with the whole sexuality, gender thing, I think it's just a good idea to be able to experience that and just learn about yourself personally. You know, for me, like, I've changed a lot of the terms I use, and that's okay. Like, you're allowed to take the time to figure out who you are. And I know a lot of people say that, but it's true. You have the ability to just figure out yourself. If you feel like you're born gender and then later figure out that you just aren't in any way, then change it up. Be who you actually are. Like, don't hide yourself unless there is some sort of danger that you could be in. I know personally, I've known a lot of people that have gone through a lot with their families because of their sexuality or their gender, and personally, I didn't go through that a ton. I went through it with a lot of complication in my family, but with one of my dads, I guess, he did not accept it. He pretended to and lied to my face. He was one of the first people I had told after I found out, because I was in love with my best friend, and I was in a relationship that wasn't technically a relationship at the time. It was kind of a friendship that I thought I was in love in, but at this point I'm not too sure. So I just remember that day so vividly, and I don't speak to him anymore. There was a lot of toxicity in his family, and I got out of there that same year. So I came out in 2019. The January, I figured out my sexuality for myself. As of February, March, I was talking to my best friend because, like, they already knew that I liked them and they were helping me through it. And I spoke to my counselor and was talking to her about it, trying to figure out what to do. And then I came out to my mom, and she took it really well. She, explained, like, I shouldn't jump into anything because, I don't know if I actually have feelings for my best friend, because if I'm being honest, I don't know if I've ever actually had feelings. Like, I'm currently in a relationship that is amazing and is better than my last two, because I don't know, it's different in every way, in the best possible way, but it's also taken me years to figure out what I didn't want, what I did want, what I, needed in a relationship. And it's the same with my friendships. I've lost a lot of people during the pandemic, and also gained my best friend during it, and she's the best person I could have possibly become friends with. I have never had a friend that actually cares, I guess. She's helped me to see that I had a lot of toxicity in my friendships, and it's unfortunate. It takes a lot to be able to recognize and be willing to recognize that your family, your friends, your significant other could be somebody that's toxic to you, and that you could possibly be toxic to yourself. Sorry. It takes a lot, and I know it does. I've spent the last, almost, or I guess, year and a half trying to figure myself out, and it's been a struggle. So 2019, I came out, and it was either late March or early April, I had gone to my dad's, and I was just scared because I talked to my boyfriend at the time, and nothing seemed to be getting better, because I wanted to make sure I was honest with him, because he's still one of my friends today. Like, he's a good guy and all. I just wasn't sure how I felt. So I constantly kept him up to date and told him how I was feeling, and he was reassuring about it, where, he told me that we would figure it out, and unfortunately a lot of it just didn't work for me. We were in a long distance relationship by about 8 hours, and that wasn't easy, but we'd always made it work, and I think the distance just kind of got to me. But then there was also the fact that I constantly had to text first, and I knew he was busy, but at the same time, I was the one to constantly text, and I basically did a test where I checked to see how long he would wait to text me, and I went over a month without hearing from him. And I struggled not to send a text, but I didn't, and I stuck to it. But I was having a breakdown at my dad's because I was scared and confused, and my stepsister was trying really hard to help me and make sure I was okay. And I remember very specifically how everything was because the door was right across from where our beds were, because we had bunk beds, and our house was pretty small for 6 kids, which I will get into that in a different video. But yeah, I was sitting there, and for some reason we had our door open, and I'm not sure why we did. We never kept it open because the house was loud and annoying, and my bedroom was the only place I felt safe, and even there it wasn't great. I hid a lot, and there was nothing physically abusive, but I wouldn't admit that there was something emotionally and mentally abusive. It wasn't a safe environment, and it's taken me until now to see that. So my dad came in, and he asked me what was wrong, and I told him I didn't want to tell him, I didn't want to talk about it, and he kept going and saying that I needed to tell him, and that, you know, I could trust him, and just was pressuring me to tell him about something that I wasn't comfortable talking about. And, you know, I realize now that I should have been allowed to just keep it to myself. I should have been allowed to just have my time to think and figure it out. So he sat down beside me, and I told him that I'm bi and that I'm in love with my best friend, who he had already met, and he didn't really like them, so that sucked, to say the least. I think it was mostly because my stepmom did not like them, and my dad just followed suit. It was annoying, but whatever. And he said, he's like, well, me and your mom, like, we'll accept you no matter what, and, you know, it doesn't matter who you decide to date or anything, we'll still love you. And he sounded so genuine about it, and I felt pretty good after that. Like, both my parents had taken it well, and I came home because me and my brother only went there for a weekend every 2 weeks. And I came home and I got a text from my sister saying, hey, Dad just told me you're going through a phase and that you're gonna get over it. I had never felt more angry at the time than I did in that moment. Because, for one, he didn't say it to my face. He was a coward and never wanted conflict. And it caused a lot of problems just with that part alone. And he didn't care. And I took forever to acknowledge that. And I didn't say anything. I kept my mouth shut when I went and left it at that. And May and June were pretty normal that year, and same at the beginning of July. But by the end of July, there was just a lot that went on in that family, which again I will touch on in a different video. But I lost a significant amount of my family, and I feel like part of it may have been that they didn't accept me, and I'm 98% sure that's why I lost my friends this year too, because they didn't accept it. And they didn't accept me, like, overall. So when you look at that stuff alone, and then when it came to me actually telling my friends that, you know, I'm bi, I'm in love with, you know, my friend, they hated the person who I said was my best friend, but never told them that. They did not like them, and it didn't really matter to me. Like, I'm allowed to have my own friends that they don't like. They have theirs that I definitely don't like. So yeah, when I started dating, I cannot express enough how little respect that they not only gave to me, but to my partner. And it was heartbreaking to me, but at the same time, none of my friends had ever gotten along with my boyfriend beforehand, so it was whatever. And, sorry, popped my finger. There was a lot that, just a lot of people didn't accept it, and that made me scared to tell my stepdad. Unfortunately, his family or at least his parents, are very behind on the times, and I was just scared that he was going to be the same way, since that was where he grew up. And I came out to him, and it went really well. So it was a huge relief to me, and I came out to my aunts and uncles on his side, and the whole point of this is to not only explain my sexualities and stuff so that you can maybe figure things out, but to give you guys my coming out story, because I know it can be scary. I had to do it multiple times with different people, and there's still people that don't know in my family, and for right now, it's safest. So when it came to my aunts and uncles, you know, they all accepted it, and everybody just knew we weren't going to tell my grandparents, because, you know, we don't want to take the risk of them just completely disregarding me. So, and with my stepdad, he was very out about the fact that, you know, if they don't accept me, then they don't accept my family, and they were all on board with that, and that was great. It was really great to hear that. But to this day, and I came out to my entire family in May of 2020. That was actually when I got my hair cut and everything. So I came out in May, and as I'm recording this, it is, because that was May 18th-ish, like that weekend, I guess. The 18th was when I got my hair cut, so it was probably the 16th or 17th I told them. So it is now the 9th of May as I'm recording this, and even now my grandparents still do not know. They just don't acknowledge that my hair is cut. They're not fond of it, which it's not their choice. But yeah, so they don't know, and it's completely understandable to not come out to somebody, because, you know, safety precautions, or just not wanting to lose somebody, or even, and while I know it's not easy to accept, the idea of losing your home. So I get it. I've watched many people get, you know, kicked out of their home, or run away, or, you know, wind up getting told that they're not allowed to be who they are because of their sexuality or their gender. And it's heartbreaking, honestly. I watch a lot of the things on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Like, I'm part of a lot of LGBT groups on Facebook, and I see a lot of posts by people just overall that their parents just don't accept them, or just anybody around them doesn't accept them, and it's absolutely heartbreaking. So when it comes to that, I get it. Do not come out until you know you're safe. If you know that somebody in your house is going to accept it and is going to stand by you, that's great. But if you're uncertain, or you know that it's not going to go well, wait to come out. Don't hide it forever, but wait until you've got somewhere you can go. That's the main thing. You need to have somewhere you can go, and that you'll be safe. Because I don't want to encourage anybody to come out before they're ready, before they have the ability to escape if they need to. Because I hate that there are as many LGBT people on the streets and that have run away and that have done a lot worse, that is all because they weren't accepted, or that they were just in an unsafe environment. And I personally, yes, I dealt with that with my dad, and I don't see him any longer. I had the ability that I stay at my mom's, all the time. And so I didn't have to worry about not having a home, because I knew my mom would accept me. And that's not always the case. I know that. So, for any of you that want to come out, just make sure you're going to be safe. That's the main priority here. And there are hundreds of ways to at least give yourself that satisfaction of being able to show without your parents or your family knowing. Personally, so my grandparents don't know, I will take this down really quick and show you. So, I have this, and it was hanging in my bedroom even when my grandparents came down for a visit a while back. And, of course, they were none the wiser. I have a bunch of things from this book, Carry On, which I am going to make a post at some point talking about LGBT books that are super great. And, you may be able to hide them. Also, getting pins that are just simply rainbows. Super easy to hide, because you can just, enjoy rainbows. I know that there are a lot of hidden wallpapers, which, if anybody needs them, I can make wallpapers. I do a lot of digital drawing, and I've made wallpapers for my friend and my girlfriend. So, if anybody wants that, not gonna, I won't charge for it or anything. I don't want to be like that. This is a place for just safety. So if you would like a hidden wallpaper for your gender, for your sexuality, just let me know, and I can hide things pretty well with, your knowledge. So yeah, if you want to, I can give you my Pride account, and you can contact me through there so that we can make sure that it fits you, but it's also okay for you. And personally, I went to the store and got felt and just sewed these, which I know a lot of people don't really notice those things, so that always works. I don't know if I have anything else, because I didn't have to crazily hide it, but there are ways you can. And I've dressed in my colors, where I wore a pink shirt, I wrapped a purple sweater around my waist, and wore blue pants so that I could have the bi-flag as my outfit. But for any of you that are able to have the Pride books in your home, one that I simply want to recommend right now, I just have to move some stuff off of it. Just fair warning, I'm not scripting these, I'm not going in a specific way, I'm just doing what I want, I guess. But this is a great book. I'm not completely done it yet, I'm right there, but the pages are like a shiny rainbow. They're rainbow color going down. But it's everything about our community. There's another book called This Book is Gay by Juno. Shoot, I cannot read from there. It's Juno something. Obviously I'm going to talk about it in a different video, but just so you know, like there are multiple. These two that I've mentioned are just realistic. They talk more specifically. Like this one goes into Stonewall. It goes into the legalization of of people basically not going to prison or having worse happen to them because they're LGBT. I apologize this video is going long, but I will try to get these done faster next time. I don't want to do a bunch of editing on these because I want them to be true. I don't want them to be fake, I guess. And this talks about parades too. But This Book is Gay and it's literally called This Book is Gay, and it's amazing. But it goes into coming out, it goes into the different sexualities, it goes into icons that are, you know, LGBT, it goes into, it gives you like a sex ed area that's great. It's a really great book, and yeah, it's written really perfectly. That's another thing though, search up LGBT icons. Like Judy Garland is a great one, so you know, find a Wizard of Oz wallpaper or something Wizard of Oz in general, because that gives you your LGBT person to look up to and or like have them just out and about. If you find any pins that have your colors, I have a unicorn pin that's hair is the color of the bi flag. I don't know if it's in order, but I happened to find it and thought it was great. It gave me my colors. Personally, I do have my flags. I've got a rainbow one and the bi one, and they just hang in front of my closet and in front of my window, and my rainbow one is actually going to go out on my deck in June, which I'm pretty excited about. Another LGBT figure that I have looked up to is Harley Quinn. Yes, I know she is fiction, but her and Ivy were the first LGBT couple I'd ever seen that was accepted. Like, where it wasn't, you know, people joking about it or making homophobic remarks towards them. So Harley and Ivy are they're great. There is a bunch of Harley and Ivy comics that you can get that have LGBT in them. If you watch I think it's Batman the Animated Series, if I'm not mistaken, it's the one that I normally watch. There are lots of episodes where you can see Harley and Ivy just like super close, and you know, they hide it, but that's because of TV shows and whatnot. The comics don't hide it. Yeah, so I'm gonna make a plan of videos that I'm gonna make. For those of you that watch this, that see this, that understand this or want more, please feel free to ask, or if you just need to talk to somebody, like, go ahead. I might not in this video. I'm gonna see how this goes first, just because I want to see how many people are gonna see this that aren't accepting of it. So I just want to be cautious. But I might eventually put my Pride Instagram in my bio or in the description or something of a video. So I mean, keep a lookout for that, just so that, you know, if I do and just don't want to say it because of haters, you know, keep watch. I will post that so that if you want to talk, and it doesn't matter what you want to talk about, I am more than willing to listen. Like, I've done it with multiple people that I follow on Instagram and that, like, I'm mutuals with. I'll see them post something that's you know, a rougher subject, and I'll message just to make sure they're okay. So, you know, and if you have any ideas for things you would like to hear me talk about, or, you know, just any questions you want answered, I'll do my best to answer questions. Like, if I have them, I'll write them down and try to answer them in a video. But, until next time, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'm very sorry this wasn't very exciting and that it went very long. I want to keep these real because this is an actual thing in the world. I'll try to make them faster and see if I can find more exciting ways to do this if you want that. But yeah, just fair warning, I am not sure how to make this any more exciting. I'm very awkward, and yeah, so if you have any ideas for anything I can do to make these videos more enjoyable, if you have any ideas of things for me to talk about, and they don't have to be specifically LGBT related or related to people of color or equality or anything like that, if you have anything you want to talk about, just in general, let me know, because I will do my best to make this a page where people can come to know that they're not alone and to maybe find answers to things that they wanted to know. So anyways, thank you guys for joining me, for those of you that stuck around. I hope you guys will stick around for more videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!